Hi, y'all. I have become slightly obsessed. I'm going to admit this straight out. With of all people, Jesus Christ, which is ironic for someone who has been a self-proclaimed atheist since I was about 13 and really started disbelieving when I was 8. Um, and have only ever found reasons, the more I learn, the more I'm exposed to other cultures and other beliefs, um, and the more I learn about the origins of religions and this ability anthropologists have who study religion and cultures, if they know enough about one or the other, they can predict details about either the religion or the societal structure because they mirror each other. I wonder why. Um, yeah, but I think because I didn't believe in organized religion, because I didn't believe what many many religions promote, and especially uh, in my experience, Christian religions promote a lot of hate and um, separation, and this idea that you can buy your way into heaven by donating to the church, or you can get forgiveness for your sins by saying a couple Hail Marys instead of actually having to work on the things that caused you to hurt someone, which really is the only sin that matters. If you're hurting someone, everything else is just human nature. Deal with it. We're flawed. We have to stop fighting that. We have to stop fighting that. And that's what JC was saying before other men decided to harness his popularity amongst people. Like, if he, and by all accounts he was successful at getting people to rally around this crazy idea that every single one of us has the exact same value as every other person on the planet. That was his whole thing. It really was. He never ever. I know I've been saying some of this over and over again, but I am just trying to process a lot. So I've been thinking it over and over and over again. So I'm going to talk about it a few times, I guess. Um, he would have been the last person to proclaim that he was the son of any kind of god. He never would have placed himself above anyone else, never mind everyone else. He wanted to push humanity in the exact opposite direction. He was sick and tired. I know all of this because I am feeling all of this and I am relating hard to the guy. Hard. um, he was sick of looking around, and I'm guessing he knew enough about history and about current world events as far as, he could have possibly been aware. Um, Different times. I'm sure he could see how harmful it was when societies had rulers, had people dictating to the rest of us what we do with our time, how we live our lives, the choices we make for ourselves, what we consider good and bad. Like, they're the ones telling us all of this. And he was trying, I really believe he was trying, and I mean, the proof is there in his commands. He was trying to destroy that. He was trying to move us away from that and move us, this idea of God, I think it's what I feel about humanity. I think that's what he meant, that God is in all of us, that it's humanity in all of us. We all have this thing that ties us together, and we keep trying to deny it. But it's there. It doesn't matter what culture we're from. It does not matter what we've experienced in life. We all of us have some of the same core things in common that are precious to all of our lives. And we keep forgetting that. We keep convincing ourselves that that's not true, that we're somehow different from each other, that some of us are superior to others. And that is the exact opposite of what he was teaching. And that that his name has been used as the catalyst for so much pain in the world, just look throughout history. Christianity has done some pretty fucking horrible things to the people of this world, and it has been used as an excuse for really terrible behavior for a time since the beginning of Christianity and religions. That seems to be one of the general themes with religions. And it tries to explain things that we don't understand. We all want it. We all want that. That's one of the things about our humanity that ties us together. We have this need to understand. That's what I realized as I went through the healing process from my depression, because when you can't figure out, you can't make sense of why something happened to you or why something is the way it is, it can be debilitating. Like, I spent my whole life until very recently not being able to understand why my safety and well-being hadn't been a priority in my childhood. And once I had the key to that, once I could understand where that came from, and it's generational trauma, it almost always is, y'all. We gotta stop passing this stuff on. Oh my God. But once I had that answer, I can't tell you, like, I felt the anger lifting off of me. I felt all of the fog lifting out. I, for the first time in my life, did not have this constant whirring sound in my mind, just like layers and layers and layers and layers upon layers of my voice with the negative self-talk. I hate you. Why are you alive? I wish I could just die. And what part of me did they see that I can't see? Where is the monster hiding in me? Why was I so less deserving of love than anyone else? Why was it so hard for my parents to choose to protect me? All of that noise, it had been building up my whole life, and things had only been added to it over the years, and especially in the last 6 years plus. The state of the world has become so terrifying and so heartbreaking that, the noise from all that, it all became deafening. But once I had that understanding, once I could see how everything really everything was connected, I could understand why my parents made the choices they made. I could understand why I experienced what I experienced. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't my parents hating me or not thinking I was worth protecting. It was them not genuinely not being able to see that they weren't protecting me because of their own trauma. I had triggered their own traumas with mine. Unknowingly, obviously, I was a child and had no concept of generational trauma, let alone anything else. And that's part of it. Language, our language and our understanding of behaviors, of events, as that improves for each of us, we have more tools accessible to us to begin to understand things and put together the pieces that we need to put together so that we can find that piece and realize it wasn't us. None of us, no one deserves to be put through pain. No one. No one. Some pain we cannot help. Some pain is just completely unavoidable, and we should do everything we can to ease it and prevent what we can. But so the overwhelming majority of the pain that we exist in is self-made, is human-made. We do it to ourselves, we do it to each other. And it's because we're trying to get our own pain out of us. We're trying to either figure it out and resolve it, or just, let some of the pressure out so that we don't explode. Because it can feel like that, or it can feel like you're drowning. It can feel like you just can't breathe. I think so here's I have a pretty full-blown theory at this point. So I think Mary, this is like just based on everything I know about humanity and this period of time and all periods of time and the historical JC. So I think Mary was raped. I think Joseph, for whatever reason, still went through with the marriage, maybe after the fact found out that she had been pregnant before they were married, and then just resented Jesus for the rest of his life. Like, there's some real childhood trauma, and that could be part of where this myth that he's the son of God came from, because Mary was a virgin. I'm sorry, it's not how people give birth. I mean, really, I know some people are like yelling at me right now, but think about this. Really, really, really think about this. Think about the ancient Egyptians and their conviction in the afterlife and everything they did in order to secure their place in the afterlife. They believed, and for a lot longer than we've believed in Jesus. And we look at them now and laugh and call it silly. And I mean, pick a religion. It's aliens. It's it's people coming down from the sky and touching a belly and suddenly someone's pregnant. It's all magic. But really, I think it comes from a complete lack of understanding of science and nature, which is understandable for the times. And of course, you'd want to try to find answers and create stories around those. That's how we feel like we're in control of the world around us, because we desperately need to feel that, because we don't have any real control. And that's terrifying. Yeah. I think he grew up with a lot of trauma. I think it made him really empathetic. It instilled in him this recognition when he could see pain in other people because he had lived with it for so long. And he dedicated his life to trying to help others. And at some point, he met someone, I'm guessing it was Mary Magdalene, because of course we'd have to vilify her for this. I bet they met, they fell in love, they had a really deep connection and were able to give each other the love that they both needed to heal. And once he went through that healing process and he was on the other side of it, I know this because this is exactly how I feel right now. And this is why I'm pretty sure, because man, it's a strong feeling. It is like I have this desperate need to try to share what I have learned with as many people as possible so that as many people as possible can stop living in the pain that we've all been living in since the dawn of time, since oh my God, since humans have existed. We don't have to anymore. We have enough language, we have enough knowledge, we have the tools, we have psychologists and therapists and psychiatrists and we can be support to each other. We can build each other up instead of tearing each other down. We could choose to do that. Doesn't seem terribly likely, but we could choose to do that. And I think once he had gone through his healing and felt real happiness and joy and peace, he needed to see that in the rest of the world. He couldn't rest until he saw some kind of change. And I'm not going to either. I'm not gonna stop ever trying to help other people come to this understanding that we all are deserving and worthy of love. We are all valuable. None of us is more important than anyone else. None of us is less important than anyone else. We are all in this together. We are interconnected. We need each other. And that doesn't make us weak. It makes us really fucking strong. That's why the powers that are trying to stay in power have spent so much time and energy and money trying to keep us hating each other, because they know that we are stronger together, and they know that we will be a real threat to their way of life, which leaves us struggling while they do not ever have to. We are a threat to them if we work together. We are a threat to them if we stop hating each other. We are a threat to them if we care about each other. We're a threat to them if we heal each other. We're a threat if we support each other. We're a threat if we stop tearing each other down, if we stop judging each other, if we stop trying to dictate to each other who you're supposed to be and just let people be who they are and contribute what they have to contribute. We all have something of value to contribute to humanity, and we're missing out on so much of it because we shoot it down. We keep it in poverty so no one ever has the chance to show it. We keep it uneducated so that it doesn't have the chance to flourish. I mean, they don't want us well educated. Look at the American education system and tell me that the wealthy want us well educated so that we can compete. That is not what we're seeing proof of. We are the wealthiest nation in the world and have a dismal education system. And that is not a coincidence. That is very, very intentional. They are trying to keep us breeding their future workforce. Seriously, that is what the whole Roe v. Wade thing is about. That is why people with uteruses are being stripped of their bodily autonomy, because they don't want us to have the choice. They want us to be forced to give birth to the next generation of workers so they can keep on not working, not having to live the way the rest of us have to live. They don't want to live like this, so they force us to. They want to ban same-sex marriage again because, again, they want us to breed. They don't want us to be in pairs where breeding the next generation becomes impossible, because to them, we're cattle, y'all. They just care about getting us pregnant again and again and again so that they have people to pick up their trash. They have people to teach the general public so that there can continue to be a workforce that produces the computers they use, that builds the homes they live in, that mines for the diamonds that they wear around their necks. Really think about it, y'all. Christianity, today's Christianity, and really, since he died, Christianity has been distorted and twisted and manipulated by the people who were in power before JC hit the scene, were the people that he was trying to topple, and they were using all of their resources and power and money and connections to prevent that from happening. And look around today, it's happening again. This is what's happening right now. We have billionaires whilst we have people who don't know where they're going to sleep tonight, who can't afford their insulin, who have to leave their young kids unattended while they go work their third job in order to keep the electricity on and make sure there's some food on the table. But it's all going to be nutritionally insufficient, let's say, because the cheapest foods are the ones that are super processed and super unhealthy. And every chance we get as a society, we make it harder for people to survive. We make it harder for people to live comfortably, harder for people to flourish. We don't have to do that. We do not have to do that. We have allowed this to go on long enough. We can say no more. We can say we are going to start living for each other and not for a few billionaires. Yeah, I'm gonna scream this at the top of my lungs until there are enough people screaming with me that we really start to make some noise and get heard and help to open some eyes, because we've all been deceived and conditioned to believe that the way we have lived for a very, very long time as a species is the way we should be living. It may have been the way we needed to evolve. Whatever. That doesn't mean we have to keep living like this. I mean, look at all the things throughout history that we decided, you know what, this isn't so great. Let's try something else. We can do better than this. I mean, we're doing better. Look around us. I've got a computer propped up in front of me that's this thick, and they used to fill up entire rooms. We are in this unique time where we have the access to information that we have access to information that they can't control, probably for the first time in human history, because as the people in power, they were able to control everything that we heard. They were able to control all of our media. And I mean, 99% of what is out there, that's still true. There are a handful of people who own all of our media outlets. A handful of people who determine what we see and hear and learn. They have just a bit, just a tiny bit of a conflict of interest there. Maybe. So maybe right now, when we have tools available like YouTube and Instagram and IG Live, same, and Twitter and Facebook and TikTok, and I'm sure there's a dozen other new social media things that I am not cool enough to know about. But we have the ability right now to talk to each other, to share real information with each other, to be honest with each other, to point each other in the directions. There are resources out there where you can find truth, where you can find fact, where you can find data that isn't manipulated, that isn't controlled by those select few. Look for those. Look for anything that just sounds like common sense. I mean, everything that I have been talking about for the last almost 30 minutes, sorry. What part of that, if you can put aside the fact that it challenges any beliefs you already hold, try to yes, accept that that's true, and then try to actually think about what I said and its probability. Was anything just wildly improbable in reality if we take magic out of the equation, if we take supernatural powers out of the equation? Yeah, he wanted us to fight for each other. He wanted us to love each other. He wanted us to love each other enough that at some point we wouldn't ever have to fight again. We can do that. We have every tool we need and every resource we need. And I'm talking about us. We are the resources that we need. We can achieve incredible things when we collaborate, when we share knowledge, when we question each other and challenge each other and push each other, and in the best ways. Not trying to push each other down, but push each other forward, push each other further, beyond what we imagine our current limits, and really see what else is out there. There is nothing stopping us right now from taking control of our lives other than the powerful few. So Love each other.